This is a review of the XYZprinting Vinci Junior. This is a affordable desktop printer, made for family use and light printing options. You'll find that it is a very good value. There are some excellent videos online for getting this set up, for getting it configured for your first print. And so I highly recommend that while you're waiting for your printer to arrive, that you take some time, look at the videos both on the XYZprinting website as well as what's on YouTube. So that saved me a lot of time and trouble. When it comes, follow the instructions, load the filament, get everything set up the way it's supposed to be. You're also going to want to make sure that you install the XYZware software. And when you first connect it, it's probably going to ask you to upgrade as well as upgrade the firmware in the printer. So once everything is done and configured, you can start your printing. There are going to be times we need to do maintenance on this printer. Relatively easy to do. There are good instructions, very good video on the XYZ support page for how to clean the extruder, how to clean the feeding ratchet. You're going to want to watch those videos. It's very important. But it does come with tools. This brush, for example, is used to clean the extruder. It's the plastic off that may have melted on, and it's useful for the maintenance of it. It's going to come with a little pin here. It's going to be very hard for you to see on camera. I apologize about that, but anyway, this is used to poke up into the extruder to clean that out. It's supposed to be held with needle nose pliers so you don't burn your fingers. I may or may not have always done that, but it does work well. The other tool it comes with is this brush. This brush is used again to help clean around the extruder area, but also into the ratchet. There's a good video online, as I said, that shows you where to stick this. Clean that out periodically, and if your machine is making a clicking noise as it's trying to feed the filament, this is one of the things to try right away. The other thing is the bed leveling, which we talked about. So it comes with this scraper as well. I don't personally use a scraper very often unless it's a very big object I'm trying to get off the bed. What I prefer is this, and I picked this up at a local hardware store for less than $1, and this is much easier for scraping the print job off of the print bed. The other thing I like about it is this doesn't scratch up the tape on the print bed as much as the larger scraper does, so it tends to last longer. So good investment here, highly recommend it. What I found was I started getting something that looked like this off the print bed. I'm thinking that it took a hit during shipping and the print bed became unleveled. Now the instructions do say to try printing before playing with the print bed adjustment, which is also called the Z offset adjustment. This is something else that I tried printing, and as you can see, it didn't fully complete the job. It didn't lay down the plastic evenly. By the way, this uses PLA, not ABS, unlike the AIO I have in the background here, which can take both, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. This is what it was supposed to look like when it was done, and as you can see, this is not the result I was looking for. So let's talk about how to fix this if you get one that is doing this or worse when it arrives. You want to open up the access and go ahead and hit the home button, and we'll say yes. And what this is going to do, it's just going to reset the print head and the print bed. And the method for checking to make sure everything is okay is to pull the, oops, want to make sure that's done. While that's doing that, we'll go ahead and I'm going to fold a piece of regular paper in half. It wants 2 regular page thicknesses for the first test. So I'm going to take a regular piece of paper, fold it in half, and once the bed is done moving like it is, I'm going to say OK. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to physically move the head this way, and I'm going to move the print bed forward. So anyway, once this paper is folded in half, I'm going to slip it under the print head, and it should pass smoothly with just the tiniest bit of resistance underneath the print head. I'm going to move it on the other side, and I'm going to check there. And if that is good as well, I'm going to fold it in half yet again, so I get 4 pages thickness again. And I'm going to try to slip that under the print head here, and that should not be able to go without a lot of force, and that's correctly set. So now I'm going to slide this one over here and do the same, and that also cannot slip under there. So my bed is correctly set. Now, when mine first came, like I said, I had some issues, so I contacted the XYZ support line, and that's very easy. You can just scan this QR code here, open up a trouble ticket. I had a call back within an hour or so of opening up my trouble ticket on this. What they may ask you to do, and the reason I wanted to show this, is because it's not entirely obvious when they describe what needs to be done, because it's not in any of the manuals that I could find. So there are two screws that hold this print head at level. This one here and this one down here. Now, they're going to ask you to hold up the bottom of the bed, the bottom of the bar over here as you loosen them. It's a Torx head, so you're going to need a Torx screwdriver set. You're going to loosen those. You're going to move the bar up or down as is appropriate for the direction it needs to go. And then once it's right, you're going to tighten it up, and you're going to perform this test again. If it turns out that you need to adjust the height of the offset, you're going to make your changes up or down here, and then you're going to say OK, and then you're going to rehome. And once you rehome, it's going to put your new settings in place, and hopefully you'll be able to do the same test we just did, and everything will be fine. So after you get your bed fully reset, or if it came that way, that's great, you'll be able to make some truly impressive prints. If you're having some trouble with your printer and leveling the print bed doesn't help it, you may need to do a very deep cleaning on the extruder, and I'm going to show you how to do that. This is a sample of what can happen even if the print bed's level, but the extruder is not clean and the plastic isn't flowing as well as it should be. This is a little piggy I printed as well. It's kind of hollow. It's got no structural strength at all, so it's definitely something you want to avoid. So if you've gone through the Z offset leveling and it doesn't help, you want to go ahead and follow the normal cleaning procedure for the extruder. We're not going to do that, because if you've gotten that far and it's still doing it, you have other problems. So I'm going to show you how to do a very deep cleaning of the extruder, and it's going to go like this. So we're going to go to Utilities, we're going to do Change Spool, we're going to tell it to unload the existing filament, and it's going to heat up and go through the process. And once that's up to temperature and starting, we'll come back to the video. So it's still coming up to temperature. It's almost where it needs to be, and now it's saying unloading, please wait. I'm going to go ahead and open up the front panel. Sometimes it helps just to turn the spool a little bit as it's unloading to catch the filament as it's coming out. And there are notches in the side of most of the filaments that can be used to hold the filament once it comes out. So this would be on the spool like this. You can just take actually technically be like this. You can just take the filament and run it through the little hole, and that'll hold it for safekeeping while it's while you're doing the work. So now the filament's coming out of the feed. So now it wants us to pull it out, and we did. And you're going to get an end that looks something like that. Now, the first time I did this, I just cut a piece of this off and used it as used it for the process we're going to go through next. What I'm going to do is I'm still going to cut this off at an angle, and then I'm just going to store it like I said, because I have a piece left over from the last time that I did it, and this is what we're going to use. So let me go ahead and wrap this up, and we'll start the other process. There we go. Alright, so that's out of the way. We're going to say OK. And now what we're going to do is we are going to tell it to load the filament, but we're not really going to do that. So I'm just going to get that ready to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide the extruder mechanism over here. I'm going to press the quick release, which is going to make that come off. There we go. So I'm going to have the unit in hand. Now what I'm going to do is remove the feed tube. So pull down on the black disc, slide the feed tube up so it comes out. I'm going to inspect it to make sure it's good. I'm seeing a lot of filament in here. That's probably not what we want to see, so it's a good thing we're doing this. And now what I'm going to tell it to do is to load the filament. And all I'm really wanting to do is heat up the extruder. So now it's heating up the extruder. And we're going to let that go up till it tells us it's hot enough. Now, I've already cut off the filament so it's nice and square, and that's what we were looking for here. And you notice I'm leaving the cable on because that's controlling the extruder's temperature. So go ahead and let it continue to do that. Now, once it gets hot enough, I'm going to actually insert this ahead of time into the hole here. It's kind of tricky to get in. There's a little lip, but you do have to get in there. And now what I'm looking to do is, it's easier to do when you're not worried about getting it on camera. If you can see the little bit of plastic coming out the bottom, I'm going to push in the plastic here until I get it to the point where I am pushing new plastic out, which I am. So that's good. Now I'm pushing new plastic out. I can feel that I'm actually doing that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the unit. Just going to turn it right off now that I have the plastic shoved in there. So what I'm going to do is turn it back on now. It's all going to reset. It's going to initialize. Once that's all ready, I'm going to go down to info, monitor mode. I'm going to go down to monitor mode. I'm going to say OK. Now what I am doing is I'm waiting for that to drop to about 100. Because I actually want that to be fairly cool. It's at 95. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab the filament very firmly, and I am going to pull it out of the unit. And what I am looking for here is a bulb at the end of it, and I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is a little bulb, and what's that done is it's gone in and it's pulled out and a little bit of carbon or anything that may be in there, so it's adhered to it, and then when you pull it out, it's done. So now I'm going to put everything back together and we're going to do a test print, so we'll see if that makes it better. This is the XYZware software. I'm just going to show you some very quick functionality with it and send the job to the printer. So I'm going to go to import, open a file that I pulled down off of the Thingiverse. You could also get it from the XYZprinting gallery as well. So let me just find a quick file here. Bring this one in, and if it turns up red like this, it means the file is physically, the object is physically too big for the print bed. So it gives you a very nice option here of resizing automatically, which I do, and now it's resized model. Looks kind of boring here because it's showing you the back of it. This is the red outline here is actually the front of the print bed, as you would see it from looking in the front of the printer. You can just hold down the left key and use your mouse to rotate it so you can actually see what it's going to look like underneath, to the side. I like looking at it like that, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, that's way too big for me, so I'm going to go ahead and tell it that I want to change the scale. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring this down by doing the slider, and you notice I have the this box checked here, which is uniform, so that as I change the scale, it's going to change it everywhere. You could also manually enter the numbers here, or just change one of them without doing the other one. It would physically stretch the or move the object the way you wanted it. There's a lot of other things you can do as well, but I'm just going to go ahead and bring it to, oh, that looks plenty big right there for my purposes, and take a look at it there. That looks good. Some other things you could do is you could rotate it on the bed. I don't have any need to do that as well. You could move it around on the bed if you want to put multiple objects on it, so we could do that as well. I don't want to do that right now. And then of course view, and then you can take a look from the front, from the back, left, right. It's all good. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that again, and you could also zoom in on it by doing that. So let's just go ahead and say everything looks the way I want it to look. I'm going to say print. There's some options that I have here, so I'm going to tell it to do it in good mode. I'm going to tell it to auto repair, which is a very handy feature. If something's not quite right, it'll make it fill in the spaces where it should be. And basic mode, it's not going to see any, you're not going to really see any options, but in the good mode, I'm sorry, in advanced mode, you can set the density. I'm going to do low here, but you can make it very strong by changing that to a higher setting. I find most of the time I do medium density, 25 or 30%. Shells, it's the thickness of things. The layer height, this is 0.3, which is fine for quick print. And speed, I always just choose standard. Here's where you select the printer if you have multiple ones, such as I do. I want to select, in my case, the Vinci Junior, and I also want to make sure that it's set to the good quality and the correct source of plastic. And once that's done, I'm going to just click the print button, and it's going to start the slicing process. So this is going to take a while. Okay, now it's done with the slicing process, and that just basically figures out the layers that the printer is going to use, and it brings you this up. Now, on the Junior, you could select save and cancel if you had the card that comes with it installed in on your PC, and dump it to the card, and that'd be great, because then you could just print directly from the card. That's something you'll find in the manual. What I'm going to do is tell it it would automatically go and by itself after a bit of time. I'm just going to tell it to go ahead and do it. So it's transmitting the object to the printer. And then the printer will receive the file, say building, and it will start moving the bed very shortly. You notice that it's heating up the extruder. That makes it so that the plastic will flow freely. Once it gets up to the appropriate temperature, then it'll start moving and printing. It's also going to lay down a quick test strip to the right side of the print bed, and then go on to print the actual object. So here it is laying down the test strip. and now it's beginning the actual build. We'll come back to this when it's done. So here it is, printing the Fox that we imported from the XYZware, and it's going to take a little while to print, and we'll just let that go and see what happens. The Fox is just finishing up. There's about a minute or so left of the print cycle to be done. When it's done, the nice thing about the Vinci Junior here is that it doesn't have a heat bed to cool down. So it can be removed pretty much immediately from the bed once it's done. So I'm going to use this little scraper here rather than the larger scraper that came with the unit, and it's nicer because it doesn't damage the tape on the print surface quite so much. So when it's done, we'll get it off of there. Okay, it just finished up. I can see that we have a little bit of filament to clean off, but other than that, it's going to be a pretty good print job, I think. So just going to use the scraper, and normally it doesn't take too much. Just to loosen it, there it goes, and a little bit of loose filament here. There we go. And what we have is really nice level lines, so this is well configured. There's a little bit of a problem here, but that's only because it was an overhang. That can be just trimmed off, and if I was really concerned about it, I would have used supports in the printing software options, and the supports would just break off. So anyway, this is a very good print. I'm very happy with it. This is a card holder I made, and I'm going to show you one that I made on the Vinci AIO. The AIO is a much larger printer. The print bed is somewhat larger, but it also has a built-in scanner, so you can scan objects, and that works very well with the right object as well. So the AIO can use both POA or ABS. This one is an ABS. This one was made on the Junior in POA, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but the detail on the POA actually is very sharp compared to the ABS, which came out very nice. But I really do like the look of the PLA. The XYZprinting DaVinci Junior is an excellent desktop 3D printer. Once it's correctly installed, everything is aligned, and it's maintained properly, it's capable of producing some actually outstanding prints very easily, very user-friendly. It's going to require a little bit of regular maintenance on it, cleaning the nozzles and the heads, but that's to be expected with this. I highly recommend this. It produces some very, very good results. This is truly desktop printing that is suitable for hobby use, for schoolwork. I'm very impressed, so highly recommend it.